Alrighty. Everybody seems to be here, and we are going to get started tonight. Uh, First of all, if everybody will unmute themselves for just a moment, uh, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I want everybody on the count of three. We're going to tell Dasheen Jennings happy birthday. So everybody get ready. So here we go. One, two, three. Happy birthday,
Happy
Dasheen.
birthday.
All righty. Thank you guys. All right. I hope she gets to see this. So she's probably partying. Now, before we get started, I always have to do our little disclaimer, and we know what it's all about and why we have to do it. But here it goes. Uh, I am a wealth strategist. I teach wealth strategies through physical assets. That's gold, silver, platinum, palladium, real estate. I am not a financial advisor or a tax specialist. For those types of advices, I recommend that you reach out to your specialist in those departments. We teach wealth strategies through physical assets, not debt, through the purchase of other people's uh, problems or debt. All right. So we got that out of the way. Now, tonight's going to be a little bit unique because I'm going to try to just squeeze a lot of stuff into one little bitty tight thing. Okay. So, uh, one thing I want to talk about this tonight is, and I've got notes if you see me keep looking around, uh, is that I need to get some help from y'all. I have been slacking on something that I started out early in this game doing, and I just got so overwhelmed, so busy that I stopped doing it, but I want to pick the practice back up again. So whenever you sign up a new person, and this is especially for the people that's not on the call tonight, and they are getting this in a later version of recording, whenever you sign up a person, please email me or text me at wileyprentice@gmail.com and give me that person's contact information because I want to reach out to them and give them a personal welcome to 7K Metals and to our family and to our group. So I'm going to try to have a call with them. And if I can, I will text them and send them an email and introduce myself and let them know that I'm here and available for them also. Okay. So if you can, just let those people know that I may be calling them and just to give them a welcome, right? So it won't come as a surprise. Now, I want to talk a little bit about a book that I once read. It's about it's from a gentleman named Eric Worre, Worre, or possibly Worre. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it. Depending on whether he's French or English, it could be Worre if he's French, but it'd be War if he's English. Uh, but the name of the little book, and it's a little bitty small book, it's called GoPro. Okay, not like GoPro camera, but GoPro is in professional. And I didn't realize it at the moment, but he kind of mirrored what I was experiencing in life, especially in this industry once I've got started in this. I used to do a lot of motivational speaking. Uh, Even in my previous job, I've spoke at some of my bigger speaking events were like at universities. I'd speak to young engineering students. I've had the privilege of speaking at University of Arkansas, University of Maryland, and several different universities around the United States. And I enjoy that. It's just a format that I enjoy talking to people, getting to know people, and just sharing my experience in life and how they could walk the same path that they wanted to. And that's what I always tried to utilize in my speeches. But one of the things I've always done is I used to run this little exercise that I would do. And what I'd do is I'd ask people if you had the ideal job, what would that job look like? What would it look like to you? What would be the pros and cons of that job? Now, naturally being human, because we're negatively reinforced from birth, that's how we learn. Mama says, no, don't touch this. No, don't do that. No, don't do this. We're negatively trained by the no or the negative side of our brain. Then that leaves the other creative side of our brain free to work. And God was fantastic in his design, and that's just the way he built us, right? So, uh, if that perfect job, what would it be like? What would it look like? Okay. So, here I jotted down some of the notes of some of the things that I've seen, but I started off with the negative side because 9 times out of 10, that's the first things that that people came up with was the things they wouldn't want to have in their ideal job, right? So here are some of the things. No boss. People wouldn't want to have a boss. Be your own boss. Now, to me, that's the American dream right there, the capsule. That's it. No boss. I'm in charge of my life. I'm in charge of my destiny. One of the other things they listed was no commute. You know, there was a time in this country that everyone worked from home because home was the base of all businesses. You were on the farm and, you know, you got out and you went into the fields and worked, or if you were a homemaker, you were in the home doing that. Uh, Before the Industrial Revolution, all of the enterprises in the United States were pretty well, you know, home based, right? So another thing that those people listed that they would not want would be no alarm clocks. That's pretty cool, right? You get to choose when you go to work and when you get off work, or even if you work that day. Uh, that's something that was very appealing to people. Uh, Now, another thing is, and this would kind of catch me by surprise, but it, you know, I put them in number according to the number of people that actually said these things. So the first thing I listed was the highest number of people said that was one of them. You know, I, I graded them, I scaled them. Okay. So this would mean that this was number 4 on their list, and it really kind of caught me by surprise. No employees. But after I put some thought into it, it made a lot of sense because I look back on my personal life and in my career when I transitioned into upper management and I had a lot of employees under me. That was an extreme challenge. See, at that point, I wasn't just no longer responsible for myself. I was responsible for the performance of everybody that was in my charge, everybody that was under me. Uh, I had to grade their KPI or key performance index. I had to do promotions. I had to do pay advances, even had to be responsible for their payroll and making sure they were paid on time. I was also accountable for any errors they made, not them, me, because I was their manager. They were part of my team. So the team leader is always accountable for any errors. So then when I went to looking at it that way, I understood why that no employees was one of those they didn't want, right? Another thing they didn't want, no politics. Now, they're not talking about politics as in Republican or Democrat or party affiliations. They were talking about politics in the workplace. And we all know what that looks like, right? So that was a big issue with them. No compromises. They didn't want to have to compromise on anything that they thought was the best thing to do just because it was being pushed down from upper management. And how many of us have ever worked in a situation like that and you said, yeah, I got to do it. I don't agree with it, but I've got to do it. Right. So you compromise at that point. No uh, discrimination. Now, we all know that there are non-discrimination laws out there, and HR tries their best to enforce it. But it is human nature. Okay. You can make it illegal all you want to, but it's human nature to discriminate against things that are not like-minded with you. Uh, you'll tend to put it on the back burner or not pay as much attention to it or not bring it to the forefront. That's just human nature. So you'll never get rid of that. But that was one of their pet peeves that they wanted a no on. The other was no educational requirement. Now, I know where that came from because myself, I have worked alongside of people that were actually better at my job than I was, but they didn't have my job simply because they didn't have the rice paper to back up the education that was required on the resume requirements. They didn't have that EE. They didn't have that electrical engineering degree. But the people were actually as good at doing the job, if not better than me. So I can understand why people would want no educational requirement, just totally merit and skill based. And believe it or not, even though I have that EE, I would prefer it to be that way. I would prefer it if a person is better at the job than me, that he gets the job. I am a total merit based person. I believe in merit based. Okay. Now, after they kind of went through their little list of no's, right? Things they didn't know. Well, their imagination started to kick in and they begin to think and see things that they would want, the more positive way of doing things and some of the more positive attributes of what they would like that job to look like, right? So some of the things that were positive was they wanted to have something that would be a great product or service that they were providing from somebody, something they could really believe in. Now, my question to us is, do we have a great product? Is it something people can believe in? Absolutely. Uh, as Richard Hanson loves to say, oh, our product's as good as gold. Oh, it is gold. Right? And he just grins every time he says that. And I love to see him smile. All right. So unlimited income. That is something that people would like to have is unlimited income, not restricted by how high you can climb a corporate ladder or what the top pay scale hourly of your job is. Okay. Working in a merit-based company like this one, the only limitations are those that you put on yourself. So you can earn as much as you can handle here. Okay. It's kind of like our gold and silver. There's no minimum, there's no maximums. Pay scale is the same way. There's no minimums, no maximums. Okay. Depends on what you've put into it, how much time, how much effort, and how much you want to grow and learn as an individual. Okay. One of the things that I've learned over the years, 7, 8 years in this industry that I've been in since I retired from my formal jobs, was that there's a lot to the saying that you've heard. If you want to change your trajectory, start looking at things a different way. Because what you focus on or what you look at, focus on, comes into sight and gets clearer so that you can actually achieve that goal. All right. So focus on what you want to do. It's all about the focus. Better get over here and highlight these because I'm losing my place. I apologize. One of the things people wanted was residual income. That's something we have, right? So what if you take off a week and you want to take a vacation? It's nice to know that that money keeps coming in, right? Or if your health fails you and you can no longer work for a while, and while you're recovering, it's nice to know that residual income will keep coming in. We've got that. Kind of sounds like our co-founders have covered pretty well just about all these bases, right? Okay, another thing is people really wanted to enjoy the people that they work with. They wanted a great work environment. They wanted to be amongst friends and like-minded people. Well, trust me, everybody I've run across in this company is like-minded. And they are some of the friendliest people. They will help you any way they can. Whether they're on your team or not, they will reach out to you and help you or answer your questions if you ask, okay? Time freedom. We kind of touched on that a little bit in the no alarm clock, but people want to have free time. They want to have time for their families, time for their uh, pursuit of happiness. That part of the American dream that's spoke about in our preamble to the Constitution, right? They want it to be something meaningful. And to me, like I've shared with so many on this call, I didn't realize it at the time that Brother Vaughn gave this to me, but this has actually become a ministry to me because I've seen it change lives. And anything that changes lives is a ministry, especially if it's changing them for the better. Okay. Uh, and also another thing they wanted to see was a room for personal growth. And to me, anytime that you are educating yourself, anytime that you are assisting other people in what you're doing, all of those things are personal improvements or personal growth. Okay. Uh, Now, this company has a lot of perks. Uh, I mean, we're an international company. You too can be an international company. Your business can go international. I've got Jesse and his team in New Zealand. I've got Abraham and his team in London. I've got uh, Don in uh, the UK up there in Scotland. And I got Belinda in Canada. So got a lot of countries that I work. I even have a lady that's in Israel, even though Israel is not one of our countries. She has a sister in California that her gold and silver is shipped to and stored. So actually have a lady working in Israel. Okay. And hopefully she starts growing pretty soon. Uh, it just have to do a workaround. Okay. Now, uh, another thing that people was looking for in a business would be low startup cost. Now, even our outermost, most expensive enrollment is $599, $600. I'll challenge you to go find a job that you can actually start your own business for $600 on an international level. Just think about that. You can't get a McDonald's franchise for that, or a Popeyes fried chicken franchise for that. You know, they're going to be talking about millions of dollars with you. You can't start up a refrigeration shop for that. Tools, employees, labor. I mean, there's not even trades that you can start for $600. You can't cut lawns for $600 startup cost. Have you tried to price a riding lawnmower here lately? Or a weed eater? Or a leaf blower? Or the truck? Or the trailer? The other tools and implements? The maintenance? There's no way you could start for $600. But for $600, you can have a startup company that could eventually earn you a six-figure income if you begin to work at it. Okay. So it's kind of a no-brainer on that part. Another thing that we have is that we are economy proof. no matter what the economy is doing, whether it's up or down, we can still turn the income because we're dealing with physical assets that are securing your wealth. So it's kind of a no-brainer there. And the other thing is we have tax benefits. Lord knows they tax us to death. I can remember the days when I earned income and they would tax that income. Then I would buy something with what's left out of that income that's already been taxed, and they're going to tax it again. And if I bought a home with that every year, they're going to tax that home again. So they put a tax on the tax on the tax. So it's nice to have something that we can write off and get tax breaks on, and we can with this. And most of all, one thing that 7K does offer is fun. If you've ever been to one of our events, you're going to find out that these are some of the most fun-loving people in the world. They love to have a blast, and they know how to throw a party. That's for sure. Okay, and they make it fun to learn. So that was that little bit. Now, how many on here, moving on to the next section, was able to make the leadership calls Friday and Saturday? Or just Saturday? Barry, you were. Kathleen, you made it. Okay. Anybody else make it? Okay, so Jerry, what was I'll go to you first and then to Kathleen. What was, just name one, if you would, each one of you. What was your big takeaway, your best takeaway from that meeting? Jerry?
Oh my goodness, it was so many good things. Right off the top of my head, though, I liked that panel that they had and all those ideas that each one was using. You
Okay.
know, they were using them and they were working. And
Okay.
one of the ones that I picked up on that I don't really do and to help with the structure, I think it was Tony Hubbard that talked about doing the 90-day thing where he does, you know, you do the first 30 days you work on you in your 10, and then the next 60 days you work on your team. I thought that was really, really good. And
Yeah.
consistency, of course, is,
Right.
you know,
Kathleen, I've seen you raise your hand.
Yeah, I really liked how I liked all the different things the panel had to say, as well. And I I really like listen and realize that it's not anything but myself that's making it hard. And that if all these other people can do this, then so can I. And not to give up, to just, keep sharing, even if people just aren't responding or just like rejecting, that just stick to the plan and just do it. And that they were all very encouraging to me.
Yeah. One of the things that I heard somebody tell me one time that I never put it into that perspective, Kathleen, was I had a, I went into one of my former boss's offices. I walked into the VP's office, vice president's office, and I was just totally down because I had failed at something. And he looked at me and he said, Prentice, do you know the best way to succeed? And I looked at him and said, yeah, don't make mistakes like I made. He says, no, you're wrong. He said, the best way to succeed is to fail. Because if you fail at it, you've learned what you did wrong, right?
Right,
So
right.
we learn from our mistakes. We learn as much from our mistakes as we do our successes. So yeah, don't never give up. If you ever get the opportunity, uh, read that book, The Power of One.
Okay.
Power
I
of One.
do have that book.
Yeah, The Power of One More. And that is pretty well the book that was written on Don't Give Up. Okay, The Power of One More. Hi, Monique. See, you made it. Uh,
I made it.
yeah. Did you happen to make one of our meetings Friday or Saturday, the leadership meeting?
We were bit busy with early voting. I couldn't do anything.
Well, you're not letting those buses in with people who can't speak English and moving them to the front of the line, are you?
I'm gonna be nice and respect your channel by saying no.
Good. I just shared that before we got started, that someone had posted that I'd actually seen, and they had video of it.
Oh yeah, that the order that the judge said they have to restore 1,600 of the people back on the rolls.
No, this was something else. There was literally a small bus, like a church bus, that showed up with about a dozen people and it couldn't speak English. And they were walked up to the front of the line in front of people that were there for 2 or 3 hours and filled out the cards and were brought in to vote. And one lady, they said they couldn't find her name on the records. So they asked for some paperwork. They go back out and change the name so they get it on there correctly.
Oh no, that ain't happening in Hopewell. I'll be nice, respect you. No, sir.
That's good. That's good. All right. So you didn't get to make the meeting. So we've just got through going over a few things that takeaways that everybody got. But I'm going to get down right to some very good things that I seen that were takeaways that nobody actually touched on. Okay. One of the things is that there's a difference in our pay structure now. That is a big improvement, right? How many caught that? Okay, you did, Jerry. Kathleen, you got that? Okay, so I'm just going to go over it.
You talking about what they did at the end?
I didn't get to catch all of the Saturday one because I had other calls I had to take, but I was on the Friday call that was just for the leadership.
Yeah, all the enhancements. Yeah.
So it used to be our Insta goal was 80, 40, 20. It was $80 worth of goal if they signed up with a Legacy VIP. It was 40 if they signed up with the VIP. And then it was 20 if they signed up with the basic. But they doubled the basic now. So it's 80, 40, 40.
Okay. If I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
I called them Monday after that call to clarify that basic membership. And I specifically asked the question, is the 40 points until the end of the year, but is it just 40 points going toward income, commissions?
No, it's not 40 points.
And
it's not 40
and the gold. She said it wasn't the gold, it was just the points. Now that's what she told me.
Yeah, she's misinformed. They'll correct her. I don't think they've been fully trained in it either. It was rolled out to us before. I think it was them possibly. But yeah, it's going to be 80, 40, 40. Okay. So they upped the goal to 40. They doubled it. Now, the other big enhancement was, of course, we still go indefinitely deep and indefinitely wide on our points that we get off of the monthly coin, or that reoccurring. See, I'm getting better at calling it reoccurring than using the bad word. Okay, the reoccurring income that we get off of that. Okay, and we used to go only 5 levels deep in the sign-up bonuses. But now the sign-up bonuses go infinitely deep on your personal enrollees. Now, the key is your personal enrollees. They can't be someone else's enrollees. They have to be your personal enrollees. That makes sense?
Okay, so how we had the 5 levels, or if you had 5 deep, regardless of where they were, but they were 5 personals.
Yeah, that's as far as it could go.
So
But
now, anyone you personally sponsor, it's
it doesn't matter
infinite.
how far down they are.
Forget the 5.
You know, forget the 5.
Now, is this just to the end of the year too, or is this
Not,
ongoing?
I haven't heard a timeline on it.
Okay.
I have not heard a timeline.
I know they said the 40 was to the end of the year.
Yeah, it's to the 40 year, but on that, I haven't heard a timeline on that. So basically, they just reset that back to where it was. And I think one of their reasoning was just the financial, doing the math, if it would work out to pay that. You know, you can't pay out more than you're taking in. And that's, you know, they're giving a lot. I mean, you look at the points that's on those coins, I mean, it's not a lot, right? So not that much of a markup, even on the ones that we have to pay a premium on. The premiums are extremely low.
Okay, now there again, let me clarify because I was a little confused on this. So you're talking about reoccurring purchases, or are you talking about just new
Monthly auto
membership?
saver, the monthly auto saver.
Okay,
That
the
hasn't
new
changed.
membership volume. They mentioned the new membership volume.
Okay, yeah, now you're Drew Blank, help me, Jerry.
Okay, I took a picture of this, you know, the thing they had on there,
Yeah,
and it says the 149 membership, 40 points, and then it said new membership volume will flow to your binary tree organization growth factor. I mean, to
your
your
growth factor.
binary
That's the
tree
word I was looking
organization.
for. Your growth
And then
factor.
the growth factor is the next thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
there were 3 things. Yeah.
Yeah, the growth factor. Yep,
That's extended to all your personal enrollment group.
yep, no matter how deep it is. Yep. So that's pretty cool. That's a lot. A lot of people see a big increase in their volume. Okay.
Okay, so with the new membership volume, so anyone that enrolls someone, that would be considered new membership volume, that flows all the
Oh.
way up as well,
Yep.
just like the autosavers.
Yep.
And then the growth factor, that has to be a personally enrolled
Correct.
person that you get the growth factor.
But it doesn't stop at 5D.
Right, okay.
They
As long
removed
as
the
you
5D
personally enroll.
restriction. Okay. All right. So we got that out of the way, and let's see what was it. Oh, I know what we were going to do. We're now going to have a fire drill. Everybody ready to have a fire drill? Okay, so the fire drill is not what you think the fire drill is. Let me see if I can find my notes right here. That's not it. I have too many notes in too many places. And I have lost my note. So I'm going to wing it because I know what I was wanting to do anyway. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I am going to put you on a strategy, and you're going to start to see why I call it fire drill here in just a moment, to grow your business. And I'm going to do over 50% of the work for you. How does that sound? Like that? Got a thumbs up? Okay. So how many of y'all have a local fire station within your vicinity that you know of? All right. And Kathleen raised her hand. Jerry, uh, Monique, can't see you because you're not showing your pretty face to us. You're shy tonight.
I do.
Got your camera turned off. All right. So here's what I'd like you to do. Make a plan, and you're going to drive down to that fire station. You'll walk into the counter and you're going to say, hey, is the fire chief available to speak to me? If not, can I make an appointment to speak to him? And you're going to arrange a meeting with that fire chief. Now, once you talk to that fire chief, you're going to walk in there, and the first thing I want you to do is thank them. You would be surprised how little those men get shown appreciation for what they do. They are going to be the first person to show up and run into a burning house to pull you, your family, your pets, or anything else out of that house if they can, lay their life on the line. I have a very dear friend of mine that died doing just that in Montpelier, Pennsylvania. Brian Martinez and I worked together for 5.5 years. And he was on the city fire department also. And he lost his life rescuing people in a burning fire. Men with that kind of bravery, I don't know how close y'all have ever been to a burning fire that's really hot. It takes a special kind of courage to walk into those flames and pull people out. So thank them for what they do. Let them know how much you appreciate them and the service they're providing for your community. Now, something else I want you to do is I want you to tell that fire chief to show them how much you care. What you would like to do for them is provide them with a free, no cost to them, wealth strategies seminar by a wealth strategist. It will cost them absolutely nothing. Then you work with a calendar date for him and his men on their shifts that we can do a Zoom meeting so that I can do a wealth strategist presentation for those men in that fire department. Every man that signs up is going underneath you. That is growing your teams. Now, once you get that first firehouse down, guess what? They're going to go talking to their fraternity brothers in the other firehouses and tell them what happened. And then they're going to go talking to their friends in the police department and tell them what happened. And at the sheriff's department and tell them what happened. Now, what just happened to your business? You just had a fire drill. See, you don't have to come up with this excuse, well, I don't know anybody, or I can't talk to anybody. Introduce yourself, then you know them. It's just that simple. So let's get out there and let's have some fire drills. Okay? Sound like a plan we could work with?
So does each
Do
each
what?
firehouse have a fire chief, or is there one chief and just a
It
lot of
depends. They're
them?
structured according to cities. Most firehouses have a chief in the firehouse. Once you make rank above chief, you're usually administrative, like in the larger city up the echelon. You'll have a chief, then you have a captain or a lieutenant, then a captain. And they may, they may work they may be officed in one of the firehouses. Say you got 5 or 6 firehouses around the city. The lieutenant captain may actually be in one of those firehouses, officed in it instead of at a city municipal building. Sometimes they're in city municipal buildings, but they do have an echelon system. And I think chief will be probably the highest ranking that you'll find at a firehouse. Unless, he's just stationed at that house. That's who you want to talk to. Go in there and make an appointment with those people. All right. So I think that's about covered what I had. Believe it or not, we're at 51 minutes. So I will stop the recording and I'll upload it as soon as I can. It takes a little while to process it here lately. I don't know what's going on. And last time it took like about 3 hours for it to process the upload, so I could actually get it uploaded. But I'm gonna stop it, and then we can have a little Q&A.